loves, I have this pink veil on my head with all these beautiful sparkling hearts because today's topic is really about the heart, and also because I just got out of the shower and my hair is a bit of a mess, but without the vanity of the whole physical thing, I just want to talk with you about something that's coming into my heart and into my consciousness right now as important to share. And this is the changes that have to occur in our physical bodies so that we can embody unity consciousness. Because there are several changes, and we can actually map out those changes. Probably not exactly, precisely every change, but we can definitely give some sort of framework to these changes. One thing that's super important to understand is that, as we know, we have our chakras, right, that go up through the body. And we have, I'm going to stand up for a minute, the solar plexus in this area right in here. The solar plexus, third chakra, is really where the sense of self is. The sense of separate self is truly born in this third chakra area. So if we're identified with our lower chakras 1, 2, and 3, the sense of a personality in a physical body that's separate from others, this is the frequency that is completely nurtured and actually cultivated through the public school system, through the legal system, through the economic system, through the religious system. Everything is pushing us, is kind of programming us, brainwashing us to stay in the third chakra, which is ego survival. Now, as soon as you push beyond the ego survival into the heart, you've penetrated the membrane into the land of where unity can embody. So I actually feel that really what we're going through as a human race, and even just all sentient creatures, is we're moving from this third chakra dominance into this heart as our station of identity. And I want to talk a little bit about the specifics of what does that mean. And I was painting a picture last night, and I found myself putting a heart in the center. And I was actually tracing my hand, and I was putting a heart in the middle of my hand, like right here. And then each finger was a different color. And I didn't know why I was doing this, but each finger was connecting back to the heart, as if the heart was like the center of this whole body, this whole life form. And I realized from my study, from my time I spent with a wonderful man named Grant McFetridge, who's the creator of the Peak States work, which is all about subcellular psychobiology and the formation of the self, starting at the subatomic particles, into the atom, into the, I don't exactly understand all of it, but it's amazing stuff. It's all about going back to the time when we were forming. Our cellular biology was forming, and the consciousness in each of those components, and I'll put his website here, the consciousness in each of those components is contributing and is an integral part of ultimately blossoming the healed human being. And the healed human being was defined really psychologically and biologically as good brain fusion. And instead of thinking of the chakras, well, in addition to the chakra system, Grant talks about the brains of each part of the body. And his work keeps refining, so I only know the simplified version, but he does have books out, so I'll put the link if you're really curious in knowing more. But there's the body brain, the solar plexus brain, the heart brain, the mind brain, the Buddha brain, and in the sperm, there's a sperm tail brain in the back of the heart chakra area, where we feel that one. And in the egg, there is a placenta brain, which is right on the belly button, right on the umbilicus. And so when these brains are all in good fusion, which means communication across all these brain centers is like a fluid highway we have Christ consciousness. We have unity. But when there's trauma in utero or trauma in the genetic code, the karmic history, the lineage, the brains cannot have this fusion. They don't coalesce into a good fusion, and there's a lot of trauma. And particularly in our Western culture, the trauma that creates massive separation between the mind brain and the heart brain is like a huge area. It's like where the great divorce between the masculine and feminine is, this distance from the head to the heart. And so, strangely enough, we think, okay, the mind brain is up here in our head, and this is where the mind is, located. Well, the truth is that this is the higher mind is up here in the heart brain spark in the pineal. But the 3D mind, the mental body that we think of as mind most often, is actually centered in the solar plexus. It pulses from the third chakra. Isn't that interesting? And so it's the mind control and it's the frequency fence that is put on this planet to keep the minds functioning at this separation consciousness level of survival that locks us into the solar plexus chakra. And the brains cannot have fusion if our consciousness is centered in the solar plexus. It just can't happen. It's like trying to have a clean shower in an oil slick. It doesn't work. So how do we embody unity consciousness? I mean, how do we really do it? And the key to that question is heart, right? It's the heart centered. I mean, the Institute of Heart Math is all about uniting that brain and that heart and finding that coherence that allows for the entry point, right, of right and left brain fusion, which is where the true genius of the soul can come through the brain and the heart in that beautiful fusion of the masculine and feminine. This is the sacred marriage. This is the harbinger of the ascension code, is in this man and this woman uniting, the masculine and the feminine uniting. Whether you're in a male body or a female body, the sacred marriage is in there in the mitochondrial messenger RNA. We're looking at the two sides of the DNA and the RNA exchanging code across the entire body of the DNA, and that's what creates Christ consciousness. Okay, that's what allows for the embodiment of the God code in physical form. And so as we move into this heart center where the sacred marriage can truly happen, and this is very interesting when Grant was teaching us this. This was in September of 2004. And he was showing us that the brains, as we know, the chakras are located in places in the human body, right? They have their stations in the body. But what happens when we reach a point of unity consciousness is that all of the actual brains leave their station. They leave a shadow of themselves in their station, like echo, an imprint. But they leave their station in the body and they come into the heart chakra area. And it's really quite beautiful. The heart chakra is like the central hearth, the central flame around which all the other brains dance. They're all in a circle around that heart chakra, almost as if the heart chakra is the sun and they are the planets revolving around the sun. And in my last update, I talked about the end of the separate self, right? And the return to God. And this follows right directly on the heels of that, because as long as there is a separate self identification that is strongly dominating, these brains will be inhibited from leaving their stations of identity and dancing around the heart. They'll be stuck in their places in the body as long as we believe we're separate and have that big identification. And so we can see how, if our goal is to get back into the unity heart and for all the brains to surrender their separate rhythm, their segregated rhythms, and actually come and dance around the central hearth of that heart. And I probably should put some pictures with this video. So maybe I'll just insert a little picture here. And so as you can see in this diagram, all the different brains are dancing around one heart. And they all carry the rhythm. In fact, the command that Gaia gives as the brains are all coming around the heart is know the rhythm, know the pattern. I think it's dance in the joy, celebrate the oneness, know the rhythm, know the pattern. So that is the command for this beautiful dancing of these brains around the central heart. So truly the heart becomes this grand orchestrator, the grand conductor that is the embodied agent of unity consciousness. The mind cannot be the embodied agent of unity consciousness. The lower mind, let's say the lower mind truly cannot, because its whole job is to maintain separation consciousness and maintain those brains in their particular chakra center, right? And that's its job. And so, of course, we have to disemploy it from its helm of the ship in separation consciousness. And that mind must surrender its agenda to the higher agenda of the heart. When the time comes, that heart has to be given the full trump card, and all brains find the heart is the master. All brains surrender into the heart. And of course, it's not like a master that's like enslaving them. It's a central unifying, governing body of intelligence that has the very highest destiny for all the brains. So it's kind of like a divine mother. The heart is truly like the divine mother and father of all the other children brains. And when we have this unity consciousness, we have a higher mind, which is connected with the pineal gland and what's called the heart-brain spark coming alive in the pineal gland. And that's a completely different set of physical coordinates than the lower mind. And that mind is a complete messenger and agent of the heart. So that mind literally emanates out of the heart to carry unity's purpose into the world, right? Through words, through poetry, through song, through practical action. It is working on behalf of the unity love of the heart. So I think I'll stop here because this is a lot of information, but I always say I'll stop and then I keep talking. But so the big change, just to recap, the big change is in that ego surrender to the heart that allows us to move our station of identity from the solar plexus into the heart, where divine unity can truly embody us, and we can be messengers and agents of the oneness proliferating for the good of all beings. And I think I'll stop there. I want to show you this mandala. So in this mandala, you can see that all the triangles, let's see if I can get it so you can really see it. All the triangles are different colors, right? And they could represent the brains. And they're all coming into unification with that center point. That's the divine mother, father, apex that gives everything its impulse and its direction. And that's found in the heart of the now moment. And so there's physiological changes, of course, in the biology as we move out of separation consciousness and into unity. Energy begins flowing through the body. The ATP is much more efficient in its energy deliverance, and the body becomes a superconductive vessel, right, where the light is literally dancing and flowing into itself as love is loving itself. And all those impediments for love to love itself have been melted away in that universal heart love. And of course, incredible forgiveness, surrendering, letting go of guilt, really letting go of the entire drama of the separate self and your identification with that, and coming to know yourself as the unity heart and as the great container through which everything flows. So much love, everyone. And it is November 23rd. So many blessings as we get close to Thanksgiving, giving gratitude for this incredible opportunity to birth the unity consciousness field into our embodiment at this time. And it's only at this time that this is truly possible. I mean, Christ encoded the earth with this potential seed, but when the earth fell into separation, that seed has been underground, incubating all these years, and now is our time when that seed is being inseminated by our very consciousness, and we are reclaiming our divine birthright as Christed beings. Such an amazing time. Okay. Bye.